make mistakes. The question is, do you keep making them, or do you own up to them, learn from them, and move forward?
Hello, you guys. Today we are going to be talking about Welcome to Plathville, Season 5, Episode 6. The show starts out in Minnesota with Olivia and Ethan. They are living in a small town now, just a few minutes away from Ethan's grandparents, and Ethan is so much happier. He likes the pace of the town he's in. He likes the weather. Olivia says that things are going a lot better now that it's just the two of them, and they don't want to live with siblings ever again. They also talk about how they've downsized to fit all of the stuff into their apartment, and honestly, they just seem really happy. Ethan talks about how he hasn't talked to Mariah though, and that is something that makes him sad, which is understandable. But honestly, there isn't much to say about the beginning of the show with Ethan and Olivia. They just seem like they're both a lot happier there in Minnesota. We go from Minnesota to LA, where Micah is doing a photo shoot. This photo shoot is just for his agency to have more photos so that hopefully he can book some more work. He says that he's doing okay with modeling. There's frustrating times where he wishes he was getting more work, and then there's times he does okay. He just wishes there was more security in the job. That's the part he doesn't like. He doesn't like freelancing. So he wants a little bit more stability, but he does actually like the work. He likes doing the modeling work and going to the gym. I just think Micah's really interesting because he went from being this small town, homeschooled, incredibly sheltered kid to this young adult out in LA modeling, and he seems to have adjusted pretty well. He does say, though, that he misses his life back in Georgia and he misses his family. And you can tell he's a little bit conflicted here. But he's thinking about going home, right? And I just think this is one of those things where it's not the right time yet. I think he should stay out in LA as long as he's still happy and enjoying it. Do the modeling, and when it starts to, work starts to dry up, then go home, or when he's just flat out no longer happy. But right now he seems to like being out there. I think he should stick it out for a little bit longer. But he says his lease is about up and he's going to have to make the big decision if he's going home or he's staying there. So we'll just have to wait and see. After this, we see Isaac back in Georgia. He is 17 now, and he has invited some friends out to get some food. They are definitely at that age where, they're all teenage boys. It's all boys. I should have added that. They're all teenage boys, and they're very much focused on getting girls to go out with them. So they talk a lot about girls while they're eating their pizza. I'm going to go ahead and throw this clip in of one of his friends talking.
He's pretty chill to be around. We both like hunting and fishing and all that, and yeah, pretty much ladies.
I just thought that was too funny. I really thought there wouldn't be a lot to say about this part, but it did get a little bit interesting. He talked about how strict his parents were with his older siblings. Isaac said his parents got less strict when he was about 14, and I can't help but think this show was a part of that, and possibly seeing the outcome of being so strict with Micah and Mariah, that changed the way that Barry and Kim were parenting for the better. Isaac talked about Ethan dating and marrying so quickly as well. Isaac thinks that didn't turn out well for Ethan.
How Ethan, who's 19, first time ever dating, just got married right off the bat, and there can be big problems with that.
So that part is really short, and then it switches back over to Ethan and Olivia in their apartment. They have invited Ethan's cousin Amaya over. They play cards and, just hang out. She was not raised like the Plath kids. She is a senior in high school right now. She's growing up, more mainstream, not sheltered the way the Plaths were. And Amaya is at this point in life where she is planning what she's going to do after high school. She's picked out a college she's going to go to. She's excited about moving. Those are things that are just on her mind now. But the Plath kids and Olivia didn't grow up like that. And Olivia talks about how this makes her feel.
When I was her age, I was reading books on how to be the best wife possible. Part of me looks back and laughs at the innocence of that, and part of me is sad.
Olivia says she thinks about going to college a lot, but right now with them moving around, it's not something she can do. She also says that it's daunting because she's never been in a classroom. I think Olivia would really like it. I think she's someone that would have thrived if she had went to college. I think she likes having new experiences and being around people. And I don't know if it would have been different if she had went to public school. Maybe her personality was so shaped by the fact that she was sheltered. You know, I don't know. Who knows what she would have been like had she been in public school. But I think the Olivia that we're seeing now would really like going to college. You guys have to let me know if you liked the next part of the show as much as I did, because this ended up being my favorite part of the show. So after we're finished seeing Ethan and Olivia back in Minnesota, the show goes over to Tallahassee, Florida, where we see the Plath kids, the ones that are still in that area. So Mariah, Lydia, the kids at home, Isaac. We see them at the beach with Barry, and they are there to celebrate Mercy's birthday. Barry explains that Kim had the children on Mercy's birthday, so she celebrated with them, and now it's his turn to celebrate with them. And Barry also says that Kim had always planned the birthday parties when they were together because she was really good at it. And let's get real, also because they had very traditional values, and I just think it was viewed as a woman's job to plan the birthday parties. That is my theory about why she did it. But whatever. We're going to focus on the present, guys. Listen to what Barry says.
Looking back, there were so many things I didn't know that I know now, that if I could go back, I'd do some things different.
It's interesting. It's like Kim and Barry separating is making Barry be a better dad. Lydia actually says she is closer to him than she's ever been before. And honestly, everyone just seems happier. And here's the thing. I don't think Kim was the problem. I think it was the pressure that they were creating in their lives to live out what they viewed as being perfect Christians and being conservative and fulfilling these traditional roles. And I just think it resulted in them being unhappy.
I would have focused less on work and more with Kim and all 9 children.
I'm just telling you, it's like watching two changed adults when you watch Kim and Barry. These are people that made mistakes, but honestly, I think they're trying to change. I think they know that what they were doing was ruining their relationships with their kids. This part of the show might have not been drama-filled. It might not be fast-paced, but I really enjoy watching the scenes with Barry and his kids. I kind of wish the Duggars could watch this and, you know, have some sort of epiphany about their lifestyle, but I don't think that's going to happen. After this, the show jumps back over to Minnesota. Ethan is hanging out with some friends he's made, and it's during this time Ethan talks about how he still considers himself a Christian, even though Olivia doesn't. There's really not a lot to this show. I just think it's another scene where we get to see how happy Ethan is out there in Minnesota, and how he says that they're supposed to be there 1 year, but he hopes they will be there 2. I just think it's showing us how well they're doing now. Next, we see Kim and her friend Alicia. Alicia is renting the storefront that Kim had wanted to open her dance studio in. But we find out that Kim is no longer going to do that. She has realized that it's not a good idea to open a business while she's going through a divorce. So the storefront was rented to Alicia, who has a clothing store. We also find out that Alicia is a social worker. So she gives pretty good advice when Kim is talking to her. So they get together for lunch or coffee or whatever it is. And Kim shares with Alicia that she has met someone and she has been seeing him for a few weeks. We find out also that Kim has already told Barry about it.
When I initially told Barry that I wanted to see other people and he gave me no response at all, I guess I hadn't considered that that might be coming out of shock.
I'm sure Barry was surprised that Kim's dating, but I also think it's very difficult to respond to news like that. You can't seem too sad because then it seems like you're stuck in the past. You can't seem too excited because then it seems like you want that person to move on. It's difficult. You know what I mean? So Barry not saying much was probably in his best interest. So Kim has already told him, but she hasn't told the kids, and she thinks it's time to. She says it's getting serious enough that they need to know, but also they already know him. They just don't know that Kim is dating him. And this is when we find out that it's Ken, the guy that Isaac bought the airplane with. And honestly, you guys, I'm not surprised. I felt like we were going to be going in that direction anyway when you watched them together in the last episode. Didn't you guys think that was where they were leading us? Like Kim was smiling at, I don't know. I just knew it. I felt like I knew. But Kim is worried that Isaac is going to end up being upset about this because it is someone that he considers a friend. So she is worried about it. Now, when she's talking about her concerns, there was something that stood out to me. Kim was saying she was worried about Isaac being upset and how she would handle it if he was upset. She said she would have to talk about it with him, and then she would have to think about what was best for her.
You know, in 10 years, there will be no children left at the house. They'll all be adults with their own partners, their own jobs, their own lives. And then what am I left with?
I do see her point, but I also feel like there's something off about the way she talks about it. Like, she's saying her kids are going to grow up and move out of the house and have their own marriages, and so she needs to think about her future. And I think she's right, she does. But I think she's going to have to be very sensitive if she wants to have a relationship with Isaac when he does move out of the house and he does have his own life. If this feels like betrayal to him, she's going to need to give him time, just move slowly with Ken. She doesn't have to jump into things. I think that will go a long way if, they don't move in with each other and get married really fast. I think that's going to make a huge difference. Isaac might be thrilled that his mom is dating someone that he knows and likes once he gets past the initial shock. I think Kim needs to tread lightly here. She's going to need to go into this slowly, and I don't know if she's going to do that. And then she's going to use that as her reasoning. I'm worried about my future. They're all growing up. I can't be stuck in the past. You don't have to be stuck in the past. You can move slow, Kim. You don't have to jump into something serious here. So that is it for this episode. It ends there. I did really like watching this one, though, mostly because of the parts with Barry and the kids that were in the middle of the show. So I liked that part. And it was nice to have a show where we didn't focus so much on Mariah. I feel like she became a lot of the show in the previous episodes. And it's nice to pull back from that and move over to seeing everyone doing well and changing and having new things happen in their life. Like even seeing Ethan and Olivia in Minnesota being happy was refreshing. So I liked this episode. It was a lot better than the last one. At least that's how I feel. You guys can let me know how you feel in the comments. And if you haven't already, go ahead and click like and subscribe.